Welcome everybody to another episode of Growing Up Kayfabe. Welcome back. Welcome back to me. I want to start off the episode by pointing out the obvious that I don't have a microphone in hand for once. Don't know how to do that. I have been desperately wanting to get back into the space of talking about wrestling. For the time being, I hope that anybody who watches this regularly, whether you be my friend or somebody who found this podcast organically, I hope that you'll stick with me through this part. But I couldn't stay away any longer. I've been itching like a fiend to get back into talking to wrestling. Otherwise, I'm just spewing wrestling into my fiance's ear and, hits me with the Spider-Man. Yeah, Cody Rhodes. Roman Reigns. I don't know what any of that means. So, I love her, though. Shouts out to Abby. She does her best. As always here, you know how it is. We are the Yes and No Wrestling Podcast. The yeet and no yeet of wrestling podcasting. And just a little reminder, I am your host, Joe, and that the reason, if you're wondering at this 3-minute mark, why am I watching this guy's podcast compared to others, you're getting unfiltered feelings and truth here. Even Sam Roberts, my podcast tribal chief, put him up. He can't be as unfiltered as he'd like to be. I know he would. I know he would say he would. But I would argue maybe a little bit more diplomatic than he would like to be. But that's okay. I don't know that for sure. I'm not going to project that on him. What I will say is that here you will get an opinion that has no consequence from Paul Levesque, that has no consequence from TKO, that has no consequence from another wrestler's opinion. My cat's about to come into the stream. Hi, Ahsoka. Would you like to come onto my lap so that way you can get out of the camera? You just want to lay right there? Unreal. Let's roll with it. Let's keep it going. I like it. I like it. Like I said, there is no punishment here for me outside of the YouTube guidelines that will keep me from spewing my opinion. And on the flip side of that, remember that this podcast is also because I like wrestling so much, whether it be indie, AEW, WWE, whatever the case may be, TNA, whatever the case may be, there's always a positive to look at. I also understand that there is plenty of bad things that happen in wrestling, botches, wrestlers that suck, booking that sucks, etc., etc. But I'd like to more than often not give the positive spin on what's going on currently with wrestling. But I do have my pet peeves as well. So, it's a little bit of a back and forth here, and that's why. You're not getting Bubba Ray Dudley giving you his weird old opinion. You're not having Mark Calloway talk about stories with his wife. You're not even having to hear... Cody Rhodes probably has the best podcast on the WWE Network, let's be real. So, that being said, this episode's more of a catch-up. I'm catching up, you're catching up, I've been watching. I'm not catching up on watching, but you're catching up. We're catching up together with Ahsoka. So, I want to talk about some bigger points that have been going on. Last night, as of this is recording, 2 nights ago, was Friday Night SmackDown. And TNA Invasion is the next biggest thing coming up. So I'll start with that there. I'm going to start with a pet peeve right off rip, okay? I don't appreciate the name change for TNA Invasion, and here's why. Because it's not necessarily about the fact that they changed it per se. I do find it kind of a lamer name to be called Showdown compared to Invasion. But it's how quickly they did it and for the reason they did it. So, people from Israel, the powers that be from Israel, whoever it may be, whether it be a public publication, somebody in their government, fans online, I don't know. Whoever it may be complains about this new TNA NXT angle, this new PLE coming up. Well, it's not even a PLE, it's a free event on Tuesday. This new event coming up that is called Invasion. And because it's on October 7th, again, let me simmer down to not show insensitivity, but it's apparently... ignorance is what I'm showing, because I don't know the dates. It's apparently essentially some type of mark of the day of when they were invaded, and calling it invasion would be insensitive. And WrestleMania points out that I guess supposedly Elimination Chamber in Germany is called something else. I go, that's fine. That's in Germany they call it that. And if we were in Germany, I'm sure we would call it that too. But in Germany, they call it that by themselves, whilst we still call it Elimination Chamber. So there's one reason right there I don't think it should be stopped. The other reason is that it just seems so not really the problem right now, and not our problem as like wrestling fans and like a wrestling company. That's what offends them from that anniversary. I think that what makes me upset about it is the fact that online, day to day, we complain about so many things in wrestling. The fans, American, Canadian, German, Israeli, Mexican, everybody across the board in all markets that we go to complain regularly about wrestling booking and things that are happening in wrestling. And they are either unanswered or they take months and months and months of unanswering. And even sometimes we're scolded for having these opinions. Biggest, two of the biggest things would be Def Rebel, the people who make our current intro music, and the mid-card women's titles, and the women's tag team titles. And the more I say things, the more things pop into my head that day after day after day, fans are pushing through to WWE to say, please, we do not like this. We have not had such a change due to fan outcry. The only two biggest ones would be Cody Rhodes with The Rock and Roman Reigns, and R-Truth. That even had Cena's help for that, you know? So the fact that we wait and outcry and do all these things to get the proper change that we want. We're not saying like, oh, we want Tama Tonga to be fucking WWE champion. We're not saying, that like, we're not crying out for crazy things like put barbed wire around the ropes to make it more extreme. We're clamoring for things that genuinely would make the product better, and then we are outwardly saying that we do not like the way you book the women's mid titles. Doesn't seem to be helpful. I mean, again, Becky Lynch elevates literally anything she touches, so they got lucky with that one. But before with Lyra, it wasn't going anywhere. Just like it's not really going anywhere with Julia right now. And we ask about it every week after week. Could you please do something with them, book them, or put them on a match every week? They even essentially, just on Friday, Kiana James saying that I would love to see them on TV, see you on TV every week. And I'm like, okay, so then why are they not then? Because they're really not. Only as of recently, Julia has been a little bit more on TV recently. And with the music, I mean, come on, that speaks for itself, right? Like they already changed music when people come up from NXT. They're already changing music even when you're not from. When they changed Lena Vega's music, it just sounded like SmackDown music. Street Profits music it ruined them. It's such a dangerous game that they're playing with these music changes. El Grande Americano's music got changed and it was worse, and yet still they are keeping Def Rebel. And unfortunately, as we all know, with their re-signing with TKO overall, more than likely we're just going to keep Def Rebel. And we're going to have to hope for the once-in-a-while bangers. People pointed out, they put out some good ones. I'm like, it does not help when there is a tsunami wave of freaking horrible songs that they play. Like, it's bad. So bringing it all full circle, there are plenty of things, and you as a fan, you can comment down below something that you have been constantly wanting to change that that the rest of the fandom also wants to change. But yet their biggest, in an instant, the same day, if not the day after, we'll change it to Showdown. No more Invasion, we're changing it to Showdown. Come on, man. That shows me that you really are corporatized shit. That shows me that you only care about corporatized shit. And nobody's safe. TNA's a part of us, so they're not safe. AEW's pushing out commercials about ICE. Shouts out Adam Page, who's like, no. Like, and I don't even necessarily blame WWE as a whole or AEW as a whole. It's the networks. It's the networks, baby. Once we started giving it away to all these bigger networks, now we're Netflix, ESPN, AEW's HBO Max, like, we just start losing where we are in wrestling. And, it sucks. It's very frustrating. So I to make it clear, I'm not saying that it wasn't insensitive or anything. I'm not saying that whoever, like I say, whoever powers may be or whoever it is that are making the initial complaints from this Israel fan base, that they're wrong either to be upset. Absolutely within their right to be upset. I just wish there was a little bit more of that with everything else that we're doing. So that's part of it. If we were constantly changing all things that people are not enjoying very much and that are kind of ruining the weeks of wrestling, and then this also changed, I would say, like, oh, it seems to be the pattern, is like we just kind of fix things that may be either in politically incorrect or like not good for the fans. And instead it's like ignore. Israel's upset, so fix that, because that would also help our biggest corporatized standards. Ignore. Because as the point goes, is like us caring about women's tag team titles, us caring about booking, us caring about music. The corporatized powers that be at TKO do not care about that. They care about if somebody's insulted in another country, or if we're not putting out enough commercials, or if a wrestler makes a gesture that's too obscene, or if they say something that's off kilter. That's the problems they want to squash and deal with right away. You need a balance for everything, doggy. You need a balance for everything. So, now that that's out of the way, let's talk actual wrestling. I'll just go over some of the bullet points that I can even remember from this past week, and I'll actually just talk about some of the things that I know that have been on my mind off the top of my head, and let's start with NXT. 1, please push Jada Parker already. This program that she's in better end up in a way that she is going for that NXT Women's title or North American title, something. That one's hard because Sol Ruka, like, I genuinely think Sol Ruka needs to be 3-title Sol Ruka. She needs to have the tag title, she needs to have her North American title and her speed title, and she needs to get all 3 of them bitches on her and just walk around like fucking Fatu with 3 belts around her. That'd be tight. I think that would work. But Jada Parker is like one of the most over characters in NXT, and if they would give her the camera time like they were giving her in the start, she shines every time. Also on NXT, sticking to the women for a second, with the whole TNA NXT angle, I hate that they shoved it in our face, the thing that I was saying out loud when I saw Kaylani Jordan come out to represent the team at TNA for women. I'm sitting there like, she's not even a TNA wrestler. She's a signed NXT WWE star. She just won. That don't make no sense. How is she the captain? Because she's Knockouts champ? That doesn't make any fucking sense. And as I'm saying it, JC Jane, wait, hold the fucking phone. You don't even go here, bitch. She was like, and she's right and not right, because she's an NXT wrestler, and she should be here. But like, so to correct it, you don't even go there, bitch. You don't even, what are you talking about? Like, you just won that title days before, and now you're gonna represent the brand on their team? Like, that's, and again, you know what I would have liked is if Kaylani was like, you're right. That makes sense. I can't support this team while I'm an NXT wrestler. That's why I'm now a it doesn't have to be true. We live in a world of kayfabe. I'm a full-time TNA wrestler going forward, bitch. Like, I would have been like, damn, Kaylani said that. Kaylani switched sides real quick. But instead, Kaylani was like, anyway, I'm the TNA Knockouts champion now, so here's my team. And I was like, no, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, so it bothers me that you, in front of us, just told us that it doesn't make sense. You agree with us without even having to ask us if it makes sense. It doesn't make sense. And then the angle later on down the road being like, oh, I don't know if Joe Hendry or Jordan Grace should be on the team. Like, their reactions, Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry being like, what? Who? Huh? Joe Hendry's he's still signed to TNA. He's still a TNA wrestler. Jordan Grace only just came to NXT a few months ago. Who gives, like, but no, let's put a hard press on Kaylani is like the one to represent TNA. I don't even, you know what makes me mad about that is I'm a huge Indy Hartwell fan. I think like a lot of people are, and the fact that Indy Hartwell was like a special guest referee in that thing and not part of the actual contender to be the title holder. I'll say this right now, I'm not following TNA on a weekly basis right now, so maybe there's a story type gap that keeps her from that, and I'll admit that. And if not, then that's whack, because Indy Hartwell should be the TNA Knockouts champion right now. That should be the one. Not nobody does it like Lonnie. And it's, you can go back, I'm not trying to be biased, but I obviously do not like Kaylani Jordan. I think her character's stale. I think it's boring. I think that they tried to make her some type of heel or tweener, and it didn't work at all. Genuinely, like, there's videos about it just not working, and then she went back to babyface, and it's like, stale on the mic, very stale on the mic. I don't like it. Not a fan. That being said, I think that the NXT TNA thing is going to be a banger no matter what. There we go. Josh Briggs does in fact need to go. If you watch NXT on a regular, you know that Josh Briggs needs to go. He has genuine go-away heat, and this is another example of it, like WWE not listening to us, right? Eddie Thorpe had go-away heat, and he got put away. Eddie Thorpe is not on, well, I mean, he's on the roster, but like he ain't on TV, right? Briggs has been go away heat since Thorpe. He's been like, every time he shows up, everybody's like, oh, brother, this guy stinks. But he's on TV every week, always butting his head into some shit. So thank God for the New Day, and also thank God that he is not a part of this NXT TNA thing. Because, boy, I tell you, much like I think many people in that audience on that night, I was not going to tune in to this NXT TNA men's match if he was a part of it. And I'm sick of, and to the fans, don't prove him right. Like, he's made a point on his promo to say, at the end of my matches, y'all are cheering, this is awesome. And on his last match, y'all did that, and I was like, you proved him right, you motherfuckers. My cat just had zoomies. My cat has zoomies. Okay. That being said, Josh Briggs is in fact a good wrestler. I just don't think his character is good at all. I don't even know what his character is supposed to be anymore. His shit with Inamura was good, but obviously he was being carried by Inamura, and Inamura's not even on TV anymore. What are you going to do? Let me know what you think about that whole deal schmeal feel. I will say that it is in fact a breath of fresh air dealing with the Io, Rhea, Asuka, Kairi drama, and man, Kairi has been on her fucking game. Like, she has been hitting those insane elbows like I've never seen her do. Like how they show when she's in New Japan. I'm like, yo, she was hitting them, and like it seemed like she was always messing up, in my opinion, from when I was watching her in this past year. And man, she's been hitting crisp moves. I love it. I think the storyline is it's very anime, and I think any anime fan can see that. But I think some fans are like, it's a bit dramatic. It's a bit weird. I'm like, yeah, it's an anime. I think they're doing that on purpose. It's really cool. Everybody involved in that group love. I don't know about Kairi, but I know 3 out of 4 love anime. So that's been a great angle on SmackDown. I wish I got excited to see the Street Profits still. I wish I was. And I will say at the end of their promo, it still does always get me hype. I like the way they deal with it. It's almost like you can rely on this type of promo from them. Dawkins basically half asleep standing up, and then eventually he's always the first to get the mic, and he's like, Kathy, you know what it is. It's been us since day one. People trying to change that, and they never will. Something. Flip it to Tez. Tez, that's right, Kathy. And something, you can't ever stop this. And you never will. Because it's been us since day one. And B-Fab, Montez, and Dawkins are the Street Profits. And we stay up. And we want the smoke. It's good. It's good promo that always gets you hyped. But then that fucking song hits. Or most recently, the Wyatt Six start doing something with them. And I just wish that Montez and Dawkins... I get it, they're supposed to not be afraid of the whole thing, but I wish there was any more of a reaction at all while they're watching them do their creepy stuff. But they are all unfit. Even, it'd be great if B-Fab was like at least like the one who was scared of me and like, they're weird. At least have Javon Evans walk by and be like, y'all goofy. I'll say this about the week is that SmackDown, in fact, has been consistently the better booked show. Ironically, because they kind of flipped, like SmackDown was kind of like lacking a little bit, and now like Raw is the one that's lacking a little bit. But man, SmackDown has been cooking over there with the story and the matches. And Javon Evans, any day now, like if he's not going to be, NXT anything, shit, push him up to the blue brand. He is so good. And him genuinely calling people goofy all the time is such a good breath of fresh air. It is exactly what we need in that moment of like, again, comedy. I say it all the time. Wrestling right now lacks a very heavy essence of comedy and backstage segments. It seems like all of them are way too interview forward. Damian Priest had a great one where he pushes Kip down the wheelchair, a la Brock and that one guy, And then of course, what's so funny about it is how Damian afterwards he's like, he's gonna be okay. He'll be okay. It's not toxic. It's fine. Come on. There is so much like Mello right now, and I don't know about anybody else, but I want Mello to win that U.S. title so badly. Not only because I don't like Sami Zayn, but because he is the one who said he wants to bring the spinner belt back, and if he can get that spinner belt back before John leaves, man, it would at least be a nice interaction between them or something, or at least it would let John Online be able to like kind of give an ode to, or like a nod to Carmelo for what he's trying to give a nod for. And it's shown true recently. Like when Melo first came to SmackDown, it was shaky, but he has consistently shown every week that he's better on the mic. I was excited because they were finally letting him come down with the microphone again, and I was so excited until Miz skull-crushing finale him against the fucking floor. And now I'm assuming that means that Melo's going to have to be in a program with The Miz. And I'm hoping that that's going to be one of those, if you do this good program with The Miz, then U.S. title, for sure. For sure. I think what I would end on is they need to stop this whole Randy, like the slow build to the, like, something's got to give here. Like, if this is going to be Cody's next thing, like Randy versus Cody, hey, let's run it. But, like, how much longer? It's got to come to an end after this, right? Like, it's got to be, like, Cody and him versus the Vision or something like that. To which I totally forgot, like, once Seth got in that ring with him and Randy, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Seth had beef with everybody. Seth has had beef with every fucking soul on that goddamn roster, bro. And that's why Seth is so much better than people give him credit for, because he can, in fact, at this time, be pushed into a program with anybody, and they can rehash old shit and make it better. They're literally doing it right now with Cody. And man, am I sucked in. And the way they're selling Seth being like, I have to win. I have to win this. And on Friday, when he screamed at them, he's mine. Get out of here. Just go. I believed him. I believed how upset he was. And I believed how angry he was. Worried that the Braun and Bronson, the Bronze, were going to destroy Cody before he can get his hands on him, and how he needed to win clean. He wants to and needs to win clean. Now that is the type of character development and character, just a showcase to the characters and their personalities that I want to see. That's art, baby. I'd be remiss if I didn't throw my hand in real quick, so we'll do one more. If I didn't throw my hat in, sorry, about the Nia Jax, Tiffany, and Cargill whole debacle, all right? So now, as we all know, after WrestleMania gave like 17 reports day after day after day about it, as we all know, the original planned spot, it all comes down to Tiffany. Tiffany's fault. And everybody who's blaming Nia for everything, you're wrong. She actually had nothing to do with anything. And let me break it down for you why. Tiffany was the one who was supposed to break up the pin. Tiffany didn't break up the pin, and they don't do the shoot counts, so Nia kicked out. Okay? Nia kicked out, and Tiffany was late to the kick. Now, in my opinion, do I think that means that, like, Nia could have just gotten pinned? I think, like, Tiffany could have just pinned her right afterwards. I think so. I think Tiffany should have just pinned her right after, and Nia should have just been like, oh, no, it's fine. Like, barely kicked out. And then, if anything, like, Tiffany should have, again, this is one of those in-the-moments thing, and I'm not a pro wrestler, so who would have known if I would have thought of that in the moment? But if you were to just do, like, a standing salt on her, something, anything, just to get that little bit of extra damage, it would, at least in a wrestling mind frame, be like, oh, she only had enough to kick out, but then she was pretty dead after that, and she hit her again anyway. But instead, Tiffany goes right in for the pin, and in Nia's brain, she's like, well, this is the spot. Like, I'm supposed to get pinned right here. And that's not the spot, apparently. So, like, Nia was just doing what she was supposed to do. This is it. 1, 2, 3. This is where I'm supposed to get pinned with Tiffany. But that wasn't the call. And the ref was like that. In the ref's mind, she's like, that's not the finish. So I'm not going to count to 3. So it is up in the air now that I say it out loud. It's more Tiffy and the ref, right? And I think I do agree with Amy about this, where they should bring back the 3-count rule. If we count to 3 and that's not the finish, restart this shit. Restart the whole fucking match. Because otherwise, man, it's starting to show a little bit more that I think everybody's on edge about, like, making that happen again. And when it comes to Nia hurting Jade Cargill, when it comes to her hurting her, I've heard something like, I think it was from, no, I don't think it was from Nash. I forgot who it was, saying like, oh, no wrestler finishes off an Irish whip into the fucking... I was like, nobody finishes off an Irish whip into the stairs. Are you fucking delusional? What? Are you... How about Jade Cargill's a dummy and didn't fucking protect herself? What? Like, how do you just fall right into the fucking stairs head first? It has nothing to do with Nia. Nia Irish whipped her. It's a fucking scripted throw. It's like, you can't even push as hard as you want to. Like, and Nia is notorious, especially in this past year, for not being hard enough. So, Nia, I think in my book, gets completely excused from that situation. She tried her best, just like in War Games. Bitches weren't following their spots, and Nia's like, okay, I have to take over now. Like, I have to figure this all out. And I have to... Everybody knows the notorious... Bitch, no! Like, fucking, I think it was Naomi or somebody tried to take a headshot from the chair, and fucking Nia's like, what? Bop. little tiny hit with the chair. I think everybody... I could see where the confusion is, but if anybody's still upset with Nia, you have to understand that. In the end of it, even me shitting on Cargill, who, yes, that's my least favorite of these three, I don't really fully blame anybody but Tiffany and the ref. They made the two most biggest mistakes that led to this infamous botch. That being said, shouts out Dirty Dom, shouts out El Grande Americano, shouts out Finn Balor. Yeah. Like I said, I really appreciate any of you. If you're literally watching at this moment, I genuinely appreciate you for watching up to this 28 and 41 seconds. And just, as always, I like to tell people, talk wrestling with me. Talk wrestling with us. Let's all talk wrestling down below. I don't plan on ever giving this up because of how much I love talking about this. And I will like to say that I'd see you guys next week. But we'll keep it open right now. Maybe I'll see you next week, maybe not. We'll see how it goes. I still got to be able to edit this and put it all up and try to figure that out. So, again, thank you guys. I'm sorry if I didn't cover a bunch of other things. Let me know down in the comments down below what you would like to talk about and cover, and what you're excited to talk about for this next week coming up. Perth, baby. I keep thinking Crown Jewel, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, no, Perth. So we're good, but also early start time for everything. Just not a fan, Jordan. So anyway, thank you guys again. Please stay safe out there. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time with some more Wrestle Talk.